What if FEMA just quietly confirmed that winter 2025 could be the most disruptive US winter in decades? And you're missing one critical item that could leave you stranded in the dark. Stick around because I'm revealing the 10 things FEMA actually says you must have at home before it's too late. Hey everyone! I spent the last week deep in FEMA's official guides, NOAA's 2025 winter outlook, and emergency reports most people never read. And what I found? Shocking. FEMA isn't just warning about snow. They're bracing for extended power outages, food shortages, and supply chain breakdowns in key states. In this video, I'm breaking down the 10 non-negotiable items you need, including 3 most households completely overlook. Trust me, you don't want to miss number 3. It's already vanishing from shelves in parts of the Midwest. Before we dive in, drop a comment below. Have you noticed shortages or price hikes on basics like canned goods, batteries, or propane lately? Your observation could help others stay ahead. Item 10, 1 gallon of water per person per day. Let's talk about water because FEMA doesn't mess around when it comes to this one. Their rule is crystal clear. You need 1 gallon of water per person every single day. And not just for one day, you need enough to last at least 3 days. That means 3 gallons per person, minimum. Sounds like a lot? It is, but you'll thank yourself if the pipes freeze or the power goes out for a week. Think about it. No running water means no filling your kettle for morning coffee, no rinsing veggies for soup, no washing your hands after digging into that mystery casserole from last Tuesday. And in a real emergency, clean water isn't just about comfort, it's about staying healthy. Frozen pipes are common in deep, cold snaps. Water mains can crack. Treatment plants can lose power. And once that happens, your tap might run brown, smell weird, or stop working altogether. Now, don't just grab old milk jugs and fill them up. Milk jugs aren't made for long-term storage. They break down fast and can leak or grow bacteria. Instead, use food-grade water containers. You can find them at camping stores, online, or even repurpose clean soda bottles. Just rinse them super well. Store them in a cool, dark place like a basement or closet, not in direct sunlight or next to chemicals. And skip the fancy filtered pitchers when the grid's down. Your Brita or fridge filter won't help if there's no water coming out of the tap to begin with. Bottled water works in a pinch, but it's expensive and creates plastic waste. Better to store your own clean supply ahead of time. Remember, water isn't just for drinking. You'll need it for cooking, cleaning small wounds, and basic hygiene. In a weird winter like 2025 could be, that gallon-a-day rule isn't just advice, it's your lifeline. Item 9, a 3-day supply of non-perishable food. This one's for all my food lovers, pantry raiders, and midnight snackers. Yes, you. FEMA isn't asking you to live on crackers and hope. They're saying keep at least 3 days worth of food that won't go bad when the power's out and your fridge is just a cold, dark box collecting dust. Think canned beans, tuna, peanut butter, granola bars, dried fruit, nuts, and even those little applesauce cups you used to get in school lunches. These foods stay safe for months or years without refrigeration, and most need 0 cooking. Now, here's the fun part. Your emergency stash doesn't have to taste like punishment. Remember those cozy canned stews your mom or grandma used to heat up on snowy days? Or the instant mashed potatoes that somehow tasted like comfort in a bowl? Those count, and they're perfect for winter 2025. Brands like Hormel, Dinty Moore, and even store-brand chili or ravioli hold up for ages, and just need a quick warm-up if you've got a way to heat them. More on that in number 8. And if you're watching your wallet, and who isn't, dollar stores are seriously underrated for emergency prep. You can grab peanut butter, canned veggies, crackers, and even shelf-stable milk for pennies on the dollar. Just check the best buy dates and rotate your stock every 6 months. Pro tip, keep a Sharpie and a notepad in your pantry to track what you've got and when it expires. Avoid anything that needs refrigeration after opening, like most deli meats or soft cheeses, unless you plan to eat it all in one sitting. Also skip meals that require fancy gadgets, long simmering, or 17 ingredients. When the lights go out and the roads are icy, you don't want to be standing in the cold trying to julienne carrots by flashlight. Stick to simple, ready-to-eat or easy-to-heat foods. Oh, and don't forget the little things that keep morale up. A few packets of hot cocoa, some hard candy, or even instant coffee. When you're stuck inside during a weird winter storm, a warm drink can feel like a hug from the inside. Food isn't just fuel, it's comfort, and FEMA knows that. So stock smart, eat well, and sleep easy knowing your pantry's got your back. Item 8, a manual can opener. Seriously, FEMA lists this separately from food and water because it's that important. And honestly, it's the one thing people overlook more than anything else. Picture this: your power's out for 3 days, the roads are iced over, and you've got a pantry full of canned soup, beans, and chili, perfect for staying fed. But your electric can opener? Useless. Dead, silent. Now you're standing in the kitchen with a butter knife and a prayer, trying to pry open a can like you're on a survival show. Spoiler, it doesn't end well. That's why a simple hand crank manual can opener isn't just smart, it's essential. It costs less than $5, takes up almost no space, and works every single time, no batteries required. Toss one in your emergency kit, or better yet, keep it right with your canned goods so you never lose it. Bonus, it's probably the same kind your grandma or great aunt used back in the day. Sturdy, metal, built to last decades. No plastic parts to snap, no charging cables to lose, just twist, turn, and dinner's ready. And don't think you're safe just because you only buy pull tab cans. Trust me, when shelves get picked over fast, as they already are in parts of the Midwest, you'll grab whatever's left. And that might be old school sealed cans with no easy open lids. Without a manual opener, all that food is basically locked away. So do yourself a favor. Grab a classic manual can opener this week, test it on a can of tomatoes just to be sure it still works, then tuck it into your emergency bin or hang it on a hook near your pantry. It's small, cheap, and quiet, but in a real winter crisis, it might be the difference between a warm meal and an empty stomach. And honestly, there's something deeply satisfying about using a tool that hasn't changed in 70 years and still gets the job done better than half the gadgets in your kitchen. Item 7, alternative cooking source. When the power goes out, and FEMA says it could stay out for days this winter, your fancy stove, microwave, and air fryer become very expensive decorations. That's why you need a backup way to heat food, boil water, or even make a cup of tea. FEMA doesn't just suggest this, they stress it. But don't panic, you don't need a full camp kitchen, you just need something simple, safe, and reliable. Think small. A single burner butane stove, you've seen them on TikTok, a can of sterno gel fuel, or even a portable propane burner. These cost anywhere from $10 to $30 and can run for hours on one fuel canister. Keep a few extra fuel canisters stored safely in your garage or shed, and you've got hot meals covered for days. Now, here's the critical part. Never ever use outdoor grills, camp stoves, or generators inside your home, garage, or even near an open window. Carbon monoxide is odorless, invisible, and deadly, and it's caused more winter emergency deaths than the cold itself. Always use alternative cooking sources in a well-ventilated outdoor area, like a covered porch or patio. For the nostalgic crowd, remember those little canned heat warmers used under chafing dishes at church potlucks or family reunions? Yep, those still work. And for budget shoppers, dollar stores often carry mini chafing fuel cans that can gently warm a can of soup if you're careful. This isn't about gourmet cooking. It's about turning that cold can of beans into something warm, comforting, and safe to eat. Because when it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside and your heat's flickering, a hot meal isn't a luxury. It's morale, energy, and peace of mind all in one bowl. And with supply chains already shaky heading into 2025, having a way to cook, even without electricity, could be your quiet superpower this winter. Item 6, warmth without watts. When the heat goes out and FEMA warns that extended power outages could leave homes without heat for days this winter, you can't just crank the thermostat. You need real, no electricity warmth, and no, your 200 thread count sheets won't cut it. FEMA's guidance is clear. Layer up before you get cold, because once you're shivering, it's much harder to recover. Start with the basics. Thermal blankets, the shiny space blanket kind, wool socks, knit hats, and insulated gloves. These take up almost no space but trap body heat incredibly well. Keep them in an easy-to-reach bin so you're not fumbling in the dark during an outage. But here's where it gets cozy. Dig into your nostalgia. That thick flannel blanket your dad used on hunting trips? Perfect. The quilt your grandma stitched by hand? Even better. These aren't just sentimental. They're proven low-tech insulation that actually works. Layering is key. Wear thermal underwear, yes, even if it's not fashionable. Then add sweaters, fleece pants, and a warm robe. Don't forget your feet. Up to 30% of body heat can escape through them. Thick socks or slippers with grippy soles keep you warm and safe on cold floors. And if you've got pets, let them sleep near you. They're natural hot water bottles with purrs. For budget-conscious preppers, thrift stores are gold mines for wool blankets, flannel shirts, and insulated vests, all for a few dollars. Even old newspapers, yes, really, can be stuffed into jackets or shoes as emergency insulation in a pinch. Just ask anyone who lived through the '78 blizzard. Avoid space heaters that plug in, they're useless without power. Instead, consider safe, non electric options like hand warmers, the disposable kind that last 10 plus hours, or microwavable heat packs if you still have a working microwave early in the outage. But never use ovens, grills, or camp stoves indoors to heat the house. That's a fast track to carbon monoxide poisoning. FEMA also recommends closing off unused rooms to trap heat in one area, like turning your living room into a mini survival den. Hang blankets over doorways, close curtains at night, and even roll towels under doors to block drafts. It's not glamorous, but it works. Because when the wind's howling and the temperature drops below zero, warmth isn't about comfort, it's about safety. And the best part, most of what you need is probably already in your closet, attic, or at your local thrift store. No fancy gear required, just smart, old school know-how that keeps you alive, warm, and surprisingly cozy while the storm rages outside. Item 5, battery-powered or hand-crank radio. In a major winter storm, your phone might die. Cell towers could go down. Wi-Fi, gone. And that's exactly why FEMA insists you keep a battery-powered or hand-crank radio in your home. No exceptions. This isn't about listening to music or catching up on podcasts. It's your lifeline to emergency alerts, weather updates, evacuation orders, and critical info when everything else goes silent. Here's the reality. During the 2021 Texas freeze, thousands of people were left in the dark, literally with no way to know when power would return, which roads were safe, or if boil water notices were in effect. Those with a simple emergency radio stayed informed. The rest were guessing. Don't be the one guessing. The good news? Today's emergency radios do way more than just play AM/FM. Many include NOAA weather radio channels, the official source for real-time storm tracking and government alerts. Even better, most hand crank models also feature a built-in flashlight, a USB port to charge your phone, and sometimes even a solar panel. Crank it for 60 seconds, and you've got 10 to 15 minutes of radio time or enough juice to send a "I'm okay" text. And yes, these are affordable. You can find a reliable multi-function emergency radio for under $25 at hardware stores, Walmart, or online. Look for one with a rechargeable battery, multiple power options, hand crank plus solar plus USB, and a loud, clear speaker. Test it once a month, just like your smoke detector. For nostalgic viewers, remember those big transistor radios from the 60s and 70s? They lasted forever because they were simple and tough. Modern emergency radios are their high-tech cousins, just as dependable, but smarter. Don't make the mistake of thinking your smartphone is enough. Phones lose signal fast in disasters, and batteries drain quickly when you're using GPS, flashlight, and texting all at once. A dedicated radio uses minimal power and pulls in signals even in remote or damaged areas. Keep it in your emergency kit near your bed or in the kitchen, somewhere everyone in the house knows. Because when the snow is piling up, the power's out, and you're wondering if help is coming. That little radio might be the only voice telling you, hold on, it's going to be okay. And in a weird winter like 2025, that voice could make all the difference. Item 4, flashlights plus extra batteries. When the lights go out and FEMA expects more frequent, longer blackouts this winter, you don't want to be fumbling with candles, phone flashlights, or worse, matches. Candles tip over, phone batteries die in minutes, matches get lost or damp. That's why FEMA lists flashlights and extra batteries as non-negotiable emergency essentials. Not nice-to-haves, must-haves. Start with at least 2 reliable flashlights, one for your main living area and one you can grab fast, like in a bedside drawer or emergency kit. LED models are best, they're brighter, last longer, and use less power. Look for ones that are water resistant and impact resistant because winter storms bring more than just cold. They bring wind, ice, and chaos. Now, about batteries, don't just toss a couple in a drawer and forget them. Store them in their original packaging or a labeled container, and check expiration dates every 6 months. Alkaline batteries can leak over time and ruin your flashlight, so rotate them. Even better, invest in rechargeable batteries and a solar or hand crank charger. Many emergency radios include one. That way, you're never truly out of power. And skip the candle habit. Yes, they're cozy and nostalgic. Your grandma probably burned them during every storm, but they're also a leading cause of winter fire emergencies. The National Fire Protection Association reports hundreds of home fires each year from candles left unattended during outages. A flashlight won't set your curtains on fire. For budget shoppers, Dollar stores often carry basic LED flashlights and battery packs that work perfectly fine for emergencies. Just test them before you stash them. For foodies and casual diners, keep a small headlamp in your kitchen drawer. That way, if the power cuts out while you're making dinner, you've got both hands free to finish your meal or safely shut things down. Don't forget backup lighting for kids' rooms or hallways. A small LED lantern or even glow sticks. Yes, they last 8 to 12 hours, can ease anxiety during long, dark nights. Remember, darkness isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. You can't check food labels, read medicine instructions, or spot hazards like broken glass without light. In a weird winter like 2025, where outages could last days, a simple flashlight isn't just useful, it's a tool for safety, sanity, and staying in control when everything else feels uncertain. So grab one today. Your future self, standing in a pitch black kitchen at 3 a.m., will thank you. Item 3, first aid kit plus prescription meds. This one hits close to home because when the storm hits and roads are buried under ice, you won't be able to run to the pharmacy or urgent care. FEMA is crystal clear. Every household must have a basic first aid kit and at least a 7-day supply of any prescription medications. Not a few pills, not I'll be fine, a full week's worth. Why? Because winter 2025 could bring not just snow, but prolonged isolation, especially in rural areas or neighborhoods hit by downed trees and power lines. Start with a ready-made first aid kit. You can find solid ones for under $15 at drugstores or big box retailers, but customize it. Add extra gauze, antiseptic wipes, pain relievers like ibuprofen or acetaminophen, allergy meds, and any personal essentials like EpiPens, inhalers, or glucose tabs if someone in your home needs them. Don't forget tweezers for splinters, scissors for cutting tape, and even a digital thermometer. Check expiration dates every 3 months and replace what's old. Now, the prescription part is where most people get caught off guard. If you take daily medication for blood pressure, diabetes, thyroid, mental health, or anything else, talk to your doctor now about getting a small emergency buffer. Some pharmacies even allow you to fill a vacation override early for this exact reason. Store those extra pills in a cool, dry place, not the bathroom. Humidity ruins them. And keep a printed list of all medications, dosages, and your doctor's contact info in your kit. And don't overlook the little things that make a big difference. Electrolyte packets, like Pedialyte or generic brands, to prevent dehydration if you get sick, antacids for upset stomachs, and hydrocortisone cream for rashes or bug bites. Yes, even in winter, indoor heating dries skin fast. For nostalgic viewers, remember those old metal first aid tins from the 80s? They lasted forever. Today's kits are lighter, but the principle is the same. Be ready for cuts, burns, fevers, or allergic reactions without dialing 911. For foodies and budget-conscious folks, think of your first aid kit like your pantry, stocked, organized, and ready to use. Because when you're snowed in and someone slices a finger chopping veggies or comes down with a fever, you shouldn't have to choose between risking a drive in a blizzard or going without care. FEMA isn't being dramatic. They're being practical. In a weird winter like 2025, your medicine cabinet might be your only clinic. So take 20 minutes this week, check your supplies, call your pharmacy, restock what's missing. It's not just preparedness, it's peace of mind wrapped in gauze and stored in a red box. Item 2, cash, small bills. Here's something most people don't think about until it's too late. When the power goes out, your credit and debit cards stop working. ATMs go dark. Gas stations, grocery stores, and even corner diners can't process digital payments. And that's exactly why FEMA insists you keep cash, specifically small bills, on hand at all times. Not hundreds, not a wad of 20s. Think $1 bills, $5 bills, and $10 bills. Enough to cover basics for a few days, a hot meal, firewood, batteries, or a neighbor's snow shoveling help. FEMA recommends keeping at least $100 to $200 in your emergency kit, stored in a waterproof bag or fireproof box. Why small bills? Because in a crisis, no one wants to break a $50 bill. A local diner taking cash only during an outage won't have change for a $20. The teenager clearing your driveway might only have a few dollars in his pocket. Small bills move faster, spread further, and solve problems quicker. This isn't theoretical. During the 2023 ice storms across the South, countless people were stranded with full wallets, but no way to buy hot coffee, bottled water, or a tank of gas because card readers were down. Those with cash, they got fed, fueled, and helped. For budget-conscious viewers, this is painless. Set aside $5 every time you get groceries. In 2 months, you've got $40. In 4, you're at $80. Tuck it away and forget it until you need it. And for nostalgic folks, remember when cash was king? When you paid the paperboy with quarters or bought movie tickets with a folded bill from your jeans? That world isn't gone. It just hides during emergencies. Cash is anonymous, instant, and universal. It never needs Wi-Fi, a battery, or a software update. Don't stash it all in one place either. Keep some in your emergency kit, a little in your car glove box, and maybe even a just-in-case envelope in your coat pocket during winter months. Also, avoid keeping large bills in your emergency stash. A $100 bill might as well be Monopoly money when the local hardware store is running on a generator and a prayer. In a weird winter like 2025, where supply chains are fragile and outages could last days, cash isn't just convenient. It's your backup currency, your bargaining power, and sometimes your only way to get what you need when the digital world goes silent. So grab a few small bills this week, fold them neatly, hide them where you'll remember. Because when the lights go out and the card reader beeps declined, that crisp $5 might buy you more than coffee. It might buy you calm in the chaos. Item 1, a family communication plan. This might not be a thing you can hold, but according to FEMA, it's the single most critical item on your entire emergency list. More important than food, more vital than flashlights. Why? Because when a major winter storm hits in 2025, knocking out cell service, flooding roads, or trapping family members in different locations, you need a clear, simple way to reconnect. Without a plan, you're left guessing, panicking, or overwhelming already clogged emergency lines with "where are you" texts that may never go through. FEMA's advice is straightforward. Sit down with everyone in your household now and agree on 2 things. First, pick an out-of-state contact. A friend or relative who lives far from your area. Why out of state? Because local cell towers get overloaded fast during disasters, but long-distance lines often stay open longer. Everyone calls or texts that one person to check in. That way, if mom's in Chicago and your teen's stuck at school in Detroit, they both leave a message with Aunt Linda in Arizona, and she becomes your info hub. Second, decide on a safe meeting spot near your home, like the big oak tree at the end of the street, and another one outside your neighborhood, like the public library or a familiar diner, in case you can't get back inside. Write both addresses down, tape a copy to the fridge, put one in your wallet, save it in your phone notes. Even if the battery dies, you'll remember it. For families with kids, practice this like a fire drill. Make it simple. If the power's out and we're not together, call Grandma Sue. If you can't call, go to the library. For elderly relatives or neighbors, include them in your plan too. Offer to check on them and ask if they have someone they're counting on. This isn't about fear, it's about calm. During the 2021 Texas freeze, families who had a communication plan spent less time worrying and more time helping. They knew who was safe. They avoided dangerous drives just to check. They shared resources because they knew who needed what. And for nostalgic viewers, remember when everyone knew their home phone number by heart? Today, we rely on contacts lists. But those vanish when your phone dies. A written plan brings back that old school reliability, so don't skip this step because it doesn't feel like prepping. It's the glue that holds everything else together. Food, warmth, medicine, they all matter more when the people you love are accounted for. Take 15 minutes tonight, make the plan, share it, breathe easier, because in a weird, wild winter like 2025, knowing you'll find each other is the ultimate emergency supply. Let's be real. None of us want to think about power outages, frozen pipes, or being snowed in for days. But FEMA isn't sounding the alarm because they love paperwork. They're doing it because winter 2025 is shaping up to be unpredictable, intense, and potentially disruptive in ways we haven't seen in years. The good news: you don't need a bunker, a survival vest, or months of training to be ready. You just need these 10 practical, affordable, and surprisingly simple items, most of which you can pick up this weekend at your local grocery store, dollar shop, or hardware aisle. Think of this list as your quiet insurance policy, not for your house, but for your peace of mind. When the wind howls and the lights flicker, you won't be scrambling. You'll be sipping hot cocoa from your shelf-stable stash, warming your hands with a hand warmer your grandma would have approved of, and checking the weather on a radio that doesn't need Wi-Fi. You'll know your family has a plan, your meds are covered, and yes, you can actually open that can of soup without turning your kitchen into an action movie scene. This isn't about fear, it's about freedom. The freedom to stay calm, care for your people, and ride out the storm without panic. And honestly, there's something deeply satisfying about being the neighbor who's got extra batteries, a working can opener, or a thermos of hot broth to share. Preparedness isn't selfish, it's community minded. So don't wait for the first snowflake or the breaking news alert. Start small. Grab a manual can opener today, toss a few extra cans of beans in your cart, check your flashlight batteries. Every single step forward makes you safer, smarter, and more in control. Because winter 2025 might be weird, but you'll be ready. And that's a feeling no storm can take away. If this list helped you feel more prepared and less panicked, do me a quick favor, hit that like button. It tells YouTube this kind of practical, no fluff prep advice matters. Drop a comment below, I read every single one. Tell me, which of these 10 items do you already have? Or better yet, have you noticed shortages, price hikes, or empty shelves on things like batteries, canned goods, or propane in your town lately? Your real-time update could be the heads up someone else needs to get ready in time. And if you're new here, subscribe and tap the bell. We keep things real, useful, and grounded. No doom scrolling, just smart, simple steps to help you and your family stay safe, fed, and calm, no matter what winter throws our way. Thanks for watching, and remember, being prepared isn't about expecting the worst. It's about giving yourself the best chance to handle whatever comes next. Stay warm, stay ready, and I'll see you in the next video.